Welcome back to Your View.
With us, so an eyewitness last week shared on social media how final year secondary students sexually assaulted their female counterparts on their last day at Ikoyi, Falamo, last week, right? They described as an end-of-term ritual. According to the story shared by Matthew, the students pinned down their struggling victims while their colleagues cheered on. She said, "I saw a most unreal thing. People stood looking while the security guards were recording the incident." Now, we've heard so many thoughts on this, many versions. We'd like to hear your own thoughts, your own version on this. You can call us on 070-80668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourviewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, we all condemn this act, but it also reveals the negligence of parenting sometimes, school authorities. There's so many angles to this story. How do you think this could have happened?
I'm actually happy that it happened in a way that we all see, because this is something that is a norm for us already.
Right.
So I am happy, sad that, I don't like the situation, but I'm happy it happened. Because this is...
No, to clarify, there was no rape in this one, at least in this report. Possibly there was one before, but in this situation...
We don't need to have
you're happy. I wanted to just ensure that
we don't need to have penetration.
Right.
We just need to understand that some girls live their life in fear.
True.
Knowing that they can be harassed and nothing would happen. You
Right.
would come, you would tap my ass and nothing would happen to you. You would come, you would tap my private parts openly, and it will be seen as a jest situation. This is our secondary school. Right. We now complain and try to deal with the situation when you see a full-grown man beating his wife or raping his wife. You have to have dealt with it from the family and the school.
Right.
That is where, if your parents fail to teach you that you should respect a woman, the school will let you understand that the grave punishments you get for doing it before you become an adult and then carry out the action.
I was reading the papers for the attempted rape in Lagos, it's actually 14 years. So they stand to that, especially if they're 18 years old. So that's going to be interesting to get students to be actually convicted of this crime.
That's the best deterrent.
That we should start to even convict bystanders for aiding and abetting. So you see young boys trying to rape young girls, and what you do is to carry your camera to record. When did we lose our humanity?
Right.
When did it become normal?
Right.
It is when we start to make jokes about rape. It is when a senator jokes about raping his colleague.
Right.
And we make fun of it and make it seem okay.
Nothing happens.
Girls get damaged for life by being molested. But guess what? In this report, most of those girls were wearing multiple underwear. They were expecting it.
They knew it was
a ritual.
Imagine that.
This is Ikoyi.
Right.
Ireti Grammar School is in Ikoyi. Imagine Agege, Ajegunle, where they have all these
limited facilities or even teachers.
Public, you know, secondary schools where the teachers are unable to handle the students.
Okay, let me come to Uwa, because I know you've been to secondary schools lately. You've heard a lot of stories. You heard young girls talking, young boys talking. Did this surprise you? Did this shock you in any way when you heard the story?
No, sadly, it didn't really shock me. And for us, that's why when I started the campaign to go to secondary schools, this was the major issue. A lot of people, from the place of their mind, they are not in a... You just see people walking. A lot of them are like time bombs waiting to explode. Priorities are not right. And because we also see, the thing is a ripple effect. When we see that people at the top do certain things, nobody is being penalized and all that, we just feel like, okay, we too, we can go ahead and have our way. It's a sad situation here, but I think it goes beyond us just talking and saying that we should talk to their parents or talk to the school. I wrote a proposal to Lagos State government, for instance, to deal with secondary schools, to ensure that in every secondary school there are professional therapists that are there that would ensure that the state of, because if you see a child that is mentally unstable, those boys, as far as I'm concerned, they are not stable mentally.
So you're talking about instability of these children. A lot of them...
No, they are not.
They are not. Talking about instability, a lot of parents miss out the fact that we don't educate our children on this matter. Yeah. We censor it in church, on TV. We can't even mention the word. So it's so difficult to communicate.
And when there is a vacuum in information, what you don't want would get into their head.
They will find out by themselves.
I was at T-Smart's place a few days ago, and I saw they just closed from school. A lot of people from secondary school just trooped out. There was physical fighting, and I saw men watching. I said, T-Smart, this is a problem. When I was young, if anybody was going to push me, and they were pushing a young lady, if they're going to push me, everybody in the area would have come up and say, how will you be pushing that girl? The boys, the men just stood and were watching. I said, we must stop standing and watching these kind of things happen. As long as you watch, your children might be the victim next time. When Uwa said a psychological problem, these children have no idea between a clear definition of what is right and what is wrong.
Exactly.
For them, they just want to experiment.
Right. Let me take Obot.
And that's the problem.
Yeah. Let me take Obot, are you there? Thanks for calling.
I don't think it's wrong.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead.
Murayo.
Yes.
Yeah. Please, Uwa has just said it all. When we have our big shot up there with indisciplined characters, what do you expect? Because these people are already aware that nobody will say anything. It's very unfortunate. It boils down to governmental issue. Good morning.
But Michelle,
I wanted to mention what the government is doing. 4 of the boys have been identified because Michelle Matthew took some names. So 4 of them, the Lagos State says they are investigating, the police command says they are investigating, and they may prosecute them.
And they were there already the next day.
Yeah. So at least the government is doing something. But we need to start to prevent that. Yes. We need to start to talk about sex from home,
on school,
from church, in our media, talking right, saying the right things and educating people, and not making young men think that it's okay. There was a social studies GSS1 textbook talking about how to pleasure someone sexually. And we're like, who takes the responsibility when these people go and start to experiment by themselves? Because their parents don't talk to them about it.
Let me take Sam. Sam, are you there? Sam, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning. Thank you.
Go ahead. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I think the parents also have a role to play. Right. Like in Ajegule, I think I grew up there, but though I was not opportune to attend their government schools. But when they close like this, it's a usual ritual where girls are raped. Most of the times they fight on the street. And you can't even stop these students because they are very rough. If you go to apprehend them, you see most of them are with bottles or something. They can stab you and all the rest of that. So I think it starts from the home first. Most of these children, their upbringing is very bad.
Thanks so much, Sam. Very correct.
I wanted to say that when I was going to do my NYSC, I was posted to a school around the Ikoyi. It was a government school. And, by the time I sat in the principal's office and she was telling me that, in this place, she started giving me rules and regulations that if they say anything, don't even do this, don't even do that. I got so scared. And I told her, Ma, please, I can't. Because I cannot watch a child do something wrong and not correct the child. So she was not telling me. I said, please, ma, just write my rejection letter. Let me go and look for a private school that I can control. I was so scared. That was how much she scared me. But guess what? In most of these government schools, that's why most of the principals are really tough. They have cultism breeding strongly inside those secondary schools. So true. I think it's beyond. And you see, when the government is quiet about education, it breaks my heart because that is the bane of that is the bedrock, that is everything that will build a good society on. So, and if they are not taking it seriously, then there's a problem. Right. We need to start educating these children from the place of the mind. A lot of them actually have the based mind, but they don't know that.
Right. So we have a situation where a Nigerian committing crime here anyhow lives here and lands straight in the Western world, and in local lingua, they know born and well to try some of the things he's doing here. Right. Because the society there's a law there, has conformed them to understand that we cannot try this. The system is strong and firm. So we need, one, to punish these actions visibly. Yep. And media must carry the prosecution and how it is, they get the sentencing. 2, we must educate our children and our teachers to know how to sense this thing in the children.
And the security personnel too.
Yeah.
Let's take Success. Are you there, Success?
Yes.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
I want to talk on the rape problem.
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, please, I want us to set up a platform whereby we can encourage parents out there to start teaching their children from their homes, because they have to embark on a one-on-one relationship with their children. They have to form a close relationship with their children. So that's what I suggest.
Thank you.
Please don't just add something. These things tend to happen more in government schools. I've tried to go and speak.
That's not what we learned. Remember we had a guest last week?
Public school. I'm saying public school. I'm telling you for a fact. If you want to get into public school to speak at a public school, you want to organize a free speaking to public schools, you will go through your nose. You need to know somebody. You need to write letters. You will pass, and they make it impossible for NGOs to go and speak to this school to help them out for free. Okay. So I think that the government cannot handle this on their own. It is obvious. Right. They must willingly partner.
Gotcha. That's a very good point.
I
want to add, okay.
It's unreal to see this happen in the open or anywhere. Culprits should be brought to book. Oriel says, this is barbaric. Can Nigeria be in the spotlight for good reasons? Say no to rape. Okay,
this is not new, because while I was in primary school, because I used to walk to my older sister's school, we take through a stream. 2 boys were always there trying to, witch hunt me. I'll put it that way. But you see, where we were, the minds where we were at that point, they were not thinking of rape. They were just trying to, harass me, make me, and all that. But now it is, and it's because we have tolerated a lot of things. We've let a lot of things slide, so we need to go back to the basics.
All right, so we need to round up, but the truth is that let's not be hypocritical about this. This has happened, as I'm told. Everybody does it. So it's good that we're bringing it. That's good news about social media. I mean, it brought it to light. We know what's going on, and people must pay attention. So we're going to the parents, the schools, and security personnel, and all the bystanders. Everybody must take responsibility.
Invest in the mind.
When you see these kind of things, you must really take them, report it immediately, and also investing in the mind of the child.
Yes, it's very important.
And what valid point that Toko just made is that public schools, please open your doors, make it easy access for NGOs.
No, I must applaud government. I must applaud Lagos State government. Honestly speaking, because I volunteer with an NGO, and they actually, just do the right thing.
That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, our next topic on Let's Talk, we discuss challenges in the UTME registration process. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So the registration for the 2017-2018 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, has been reported to be very hectic. The candidates and the parents have complained bitterly about the process, which many are actually finding very, very challenging. Following these concerns, what is required? Joining us is the National President of the Association of Tutorial School of Operators, Dotun Shodunke. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
You can call us on 070-80668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag Yourview TVC so we can read your tweets. So, why are people finding this thing so difficult to use?
Well, I think the new registrar, the professor of Islamic Studies, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, is to be blamed for this.
Okay.
He introduced some measures.
New measures.
Right, well, which he called reforms.
Right.
And what I could deduce from this, from about my 20-something year experience of dealing with JAM, is that he just said to enrich certain few cabals that own CBT centers.
That's an allegation, though.
No, there's no problem. I've been saying this, and he has not really come out to debunk it.
Roberto.
You understand? Let him come out. Invite him. Let him take me to court. You understand?
The man is ready.
For information, yes.
I want us to go
Of course. Okay. Now there's this group that they call CBT owners. Once you have money, you have about 20-25 million, you can invest in it to open CBT.
Please break down CBT,
computer-based test center.
Yes.
Right, where they will sit for exam. So you buy about 300 laptops and so on, generator, mechanogen, 50 kV and so on. So it's highly capital intensive.
Right.
Okay.
Now the problem JAM has is that JAM does not give them what their kind of amount that they deserve to get when they allow students to sit for this exam. Like the last administration, Professor Dubois Jerry, you know, whom I really fought during his tenure, and now I can, you know, clearly say that I think I would say that it's better off. Okay. You understand? Yes, yes. Because there's a general proverb in Yoruba that if you don't taste the houses of two husbands, you don't know the one that is bad. Okay?
That's all right.
Right? So this one now, what he did was to say, okay, CBT centers will be the only one to fill the forms.
Right.
So you can no longer fill JAM forms in the comfort of your room, you know, on your phone. Like GC form is out now. You will never hear of any registration problem. Right. But this time, what he did was that he blocked all the cyber cafe operators. Right. And a lot of people lost their jobs. And he decided to divert this registration only to the CBT center. And he's expecting, how can JAM registrar come and say 1.2 million candidates will register? I came out to say about 2 million will register. He doesn't know anything about that place. So he now said, like about 2 million candidates will now be facing about 400 CBT centers all over the country.
How many computers?
To register. How many systems are they using? That is one. Number two, what about the failure, the electricity problem? What about the technical problem? And that led to a lot of pandemonium. Students will have to settle police people for them to fill form. At the end of the day, students were spending about 5,000 naira just to fill the form, not to buy.
How much is the form itself?
The form itself is 5,000 naira, 5,005. Meanwhile, Senate pronounced the other time when we thought that form should not be more than 2,500. We have an emperor at the ends of affair. Who does not listen to anybody.
We're hanging there, sir. So I don't want us to use this platform to throw out different allegations on somebody else, but because he needs to be around to be able to defend himself. But what we read is that this new system was supposed to checkmate malpractice. Do you agree?
Okay.
Because this, I mean, that's what it came across.
I want to put it to them, and I'm going to tell Nigerians, and this should be recorded, that the method they introduced will encourage malpractice.
How, sir?
Very simple. I am going to sit exam in CBT Center, Morayo.
Yes.
Right. And this is another CBT Center, this is another CBT Center, this is another. They have association, which they just form now. Right? It's a matter of you have my data. You will send my data if I want to do expo. You will send my data to this, your friend. They have the data. Right. They will send text to the students that if you need our assistance, it's available. Right. Because you have allowed contact at the point of registration.
Oh, so they already know where they are writing the exam.
The man is supposed to carry along the real stakeholders.
Right.
Do you understand? To give him direction.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, two things. You mentioned that the people see this as a way to enrich a particular sector of
yes,
people.
That's about 400 cabal members.
You know, but I understand that this is to checkmate crime, because we've complained over and over again that they use the opportunity of the lapses in registration to select where they are going to do their exams and all that. You don't agree that this is checkmating any crime?
I just told you it's not. It's going to encourage it.
So now I want to ask concerning registration. The registration difficulty that they are complaining about, the students are saying that they cannot afford, so it also cannot afford it, one. Have you prosecuted them legally, taking it up with the National Assembly to ensure that this can be undone?
What can be undone?
The process, the new reform.
2,500. Yes. To go and correct mistakes in your
anyway,
form.
we are working on that. We have approached the right set of people and their quarters, you know, in respect to that. And I think maybe by next registration, you know, certain better reforms will be introduced. Since the man is not ready to carry us along.
Do you still believe in the credibility of JAM? Because right now, you're done with JAM. They will ask you again to write the post-UME exams. You know, don't you think it is like repetition, exam upon exam? You know, let them decide which one. Because a child will still finish with JAM. They will still go again. They say the university says you need to write exam.
There is no more post-UTME.
Yeah. Oh, it has been scrapped.
Last year, it's been scrapped. But, you know, the problem I have is before you scrap anything, you look at the pros and the cons. What brought in post-UTME?
It was the failure in JAM.
Failure in JAM because the papers were leaking.
Yes.
And I should give that to Professor Dibo Jeride. When he got there, every leakage stopped. Which was a good achievement. Now that there was no leakage, that's the point.
Yeah, so
there was no leakage. Now there is
UTME.
need for post-UTME to stop.
Yes.
But because schools too were using post-UTME
to make money.
Yes.
You cannot, I don't want to mention names because some of you, that may be your alma mater. Right, the schools they may be alma mater.
Careful,
you can
sir.
imagine some schools that were charging, ×2 the amount that JAM cost for post-JAM.
Yes.
So when they stopped post-JAM, right, the schools started protesting. So I don't support the fact that post-JAM should really come back because there's no more malpractice in JAM. No more malpractice. You can't do it in CBT.
All right, let me go back to what you said earlier, that you criticize the previous regime.
Seriously.
Now, I'm saying that, is it possible that you're not giving this new regime a chance? Is it that your mind is already set on that you're going to criticize, you're not giving this new system a chance? Maybe 4 years down the line, you're going to like, maybe it was actually a good idea to have these centers. Is it possible that you're not really looking beyond the fact that you made...
with my own question.
Right.
When the new system has a 60% failure, there's a problem.
So how do we need the 60%?
That's what the statistics confirmed.
Data now says that 60% of people registering for JAM have one difficulty or the other. So I think that Professor Oloyede needs to go back to the drawing table. But JAM is this Saturday.
Just few days
What
away.
can people do in these few days?
Let me shock you. JAM is Friday. That's the annoying thing. The man single-handedly shifted JAM to Friday, from Saturday to Friday, 3 o'clock. Students are not aware. Syllabus have been changed. Some things syllabus have been changed. Students are not aware. And let me even say this. You only say I should not use this platform. Let me educate Nigerians. So that when it happens and I start, protesting with thousands of students, people will not blame me. Now, as we are talking, the man came out, addressed press and said, anybody that scored 260 will be given scholarship. Right, even in TOEFL, SAT, and DRE and whatever, they will tell you out of 1,200, 1,200, they will tell you anybody that scored 1,100. How can you say anybody that scored 260 out of 400? It means there's a deliberate, plan to fail these students. How can you say 260 over 400?
Let me pause you for a quick second. I have the PRO for JAM. Dr. Fabian, are you on the phone?
I'm on the phone.
Are you online? Yes, go ahead. Thanks for calling.
I'm not hearing what they are saying, no.
Dr. Fabian, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you, but I'm not hearing what the panelists are saying.
Okay. We're asking concerning why are students finding it so difficult to register for their exams?
We have registered over 1.7 million candidates within 1 month. So I don't understand what somebody is saying finding it difficult. We had a system where people were registering for 6 months and they could not even register up to 1.2. We're now registered, we've registered within 1 month, 1.7 million, over 1.7 million candidates. So even you, think about it. How will you say people are finding it difficult to register when we are able to register about 1.7 million candidates?
Okay.
I know that, Dr. Fabian, there are websites building apps that protect the website from false registration, double registration, scams and all that. Why did JAM restrict the registration strictly to the CBT centers? Only CBT centers.
You see, our examination starts, the examination malpractice starts from registration.
Okay.
And examination is a serious business. Examination is not a system whereby you begin to use federal character, religion, or to empower people. We've noticed that this CBT center, we cannot regulate them. That is one. Secondly, we didn't restrict them. The only thing we did was to say, look, we have a standard. For you to register for our examination, you must meet this particular standard. And anybody that meet that standard, you see, for every system, there must be a standard, there must be required. It's not just an automatic affair where somebody will buy a generator, buy a laptop, and sit under a tree and be registering candidates.
Right.
When issues crop up, you cannot even trace such a person. We now decided that let us have a standard so that when there are problems, we'll be able to hold people responsible.
Right. Thank you.
If you don't meet that standard, you will not register. If a cyber cafe today meets our standard, we'll approve and you will
register in my house.
All right. Thank you. Go hang in there, doctor. Yes,
Dr. Fabian. So statistics from NOI say that 60% of registered candidates have one difficulty or the other with their registration. Is this true?
How?
They have one difficulty or the other.
I gave you the statistics.
1.7.
The facts are there.
Okay.
Listen, within 1 month, we are able to register 1.76
with difficulty.
Sir, so Dr. Fabian.
We've never listened. There is no system in the world that is 100% perfect. There could be one niches or the other. Okay. But the most important thing in any system is the ability of that organization to be able to address whatever challenge that rear its head at the particular point in time.
All right. Thank you. We have to go on a break.
But my major question, is it going to still be on?
Yeah. When we come back, sir, please hang in there. We still have our guests in the studio. We're going to come back to you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So I think hopefully we have Dr. Fabian on the line. Jumoke, you had a question for him.
Yeah, so my question is, if there is a 60% failure or people who have difficulties in registering, and Professor Oloyede said that they ought to go back to the CBT centers and pay 2,500 to correct those mistakes. How?
I think my producer just telling me that I think Dr. Fabian left the line. He's the one. He had to say he had to rush for a meeting. Would you like to...
You see, Fabian will never stay on the line while I'm here.
Why?
Right, if you have a means, bring Fabian on physically and bring me on.
Big issue.
And when he's coming, he should come with his registrar, Professor Oloyede. You see, the point is this. What you are calling correction that they advertise 2.5 is 2.5 per mistake.
It's on you.
You make mistake in your name, right? Morayo turn to Moayo. The R there is 2.5. By mistake, maybe local government of origin, right? Mistake, that is 2.5 also. Replacement of passport photograph by mistake is 2.5. And all these CBT centers are being handled by non-professional. So, and during the registration, students were so many that the rush was high, so a lot of mistakes were made. And after buying 2.5, paying 2.5 per mistake, you are going to pay 1,000 naira to attend to each mistake.
Right? What does that mean?
I knew a student that was charged 10,000 naira. Now, to now crown it all, the site was down the day they said they should go and correct mistakes. So a lot of these 60% you are mentioning have not corrected
their mistakes.
And the exam?
Let me take this call.
And the exam is starting on Friday. Meanwhile, some of them are thinking it's Saturday. But the emperor has said he has shifted it forward without even announcing to anybody. Why are they taking us for granted? It's like it's a deliberate plan for these students. They have set them up to fail. And by the time they fail, parents will now sit down and say, my students are not serious. If you are put under the same condition that these students are facing, you will not be sitting down here because you won't even go to school.
Let me take this call from Hamed from Niger State. Hamed, are you there?
Terrible.
Yeah, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
What I'm trying to say is that concern... Yeah, I'm there. Good morning.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that I'm a student. It took me about 5 days to register for the exam. I spent about 6 hours every day at the CBT center. How on earth do you expect us to register? And most of us are WAEC candidates.
How much did you have to pay, Ahmed?
I paid 5,500 for the at the bank.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I paid 5,500 at the bank.
Right.
For the PIN. I paid 700 at the CBT center. I had to pay additional 100 naira again to buy one PIN like that. How on earth do you get this money? Okay. I saw some guys coming all the way from village. Some spent 10 days to register for this exam.
All right. 10 days. Thank you very much, Ahmed.
Because I think I'm really taken aback here. We are in a what they call
computer age.
Computer age. And I don't understand why something you call computerized, you're not able to sit down in the comfort of your home. If I'm feeling the US visa to anywhere in the world, or I can. That's what I'm saying. So please, I want you to help me. I want you to help me understand, because I think
you have to go physically to the center.
So what is the point?
Archaic.
Thank you. What is the point of making it computerized if I have to physically go somewhere?
My sister, thank God for people like you that are giving us this opportunity to educate. People don't know what is happening. Students and parents are just suffering. Now, let me tell you this. For you to fill JAMB form like this year, you spend average of 10,000 naira. That boy said that he went to CBT center like 5 times. Yes. That the distance between a CBT center to, normal abode, right? We are going to spend about 300 naira to and fro. So calculate it. A lot of people fainted trying to fill form. Yes. A lot of people fainted. You need to be there. It was awful. That is when they were filling this form. Only for this man to come up and say that I've extended it. Because they were begging him, extend this. He said he won't extend. I've extended. Let
me take our last call this morning.
There were a lot of mistakes.
Prince Olak is our last call this morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead, please.
Fine. I want to talk on what the man your guest is talking about the exam stuff.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I'm just thinking about WAEC stuff. WAEC, they are doing their own. Normally, I think it goes very well, but JAMB, since when JAMB have been, the exam is being, the register is being somehow stuff like that. But can't legal, as in the Nigerian government, find something to do to it?
All right.
As in maybe just to check them very well.
All right, that's all. Okay.
You see, sorry, to buttress you, that's about the why, if it's technology, it has to be easier. Why it's not easy? It's the intention of the man at the ends of affair. At the end of the day, everything boils down on the intention. Our education is being run by, I can just classify it as the issue of terror, error, and horror. The people at the ends of affair, they are the terror. When terror now introduces policy, the policy will be full of error. Like this 60% error that you're talking about. And at the end of the day, when you now have erroneous policy, the student that consumed that erroneous policy will become horror, like what you are saying about rape. And that is why we found ourselves in this situation.
So what's the solution going forward? I mean, the minister, once again, we're calling on the Minister of Education in this situation.
Who is he again?
No, the Minister of Education is as good or as bad, as it were, as the registrar. The registrar is supposed to be the head of Islamic Center. Let us put round peg in round hole.
So you are saying not the right person. Not the right person.
The problem is not about JAMB. As JAMB is a very brilliant idea. Right. It's about the people at the ends of affair. Right. And when you don't know something, swallow your pride. Call the people on the field. Sit us down. Right. We will tell you what is to be done. Right. There are a lot of erroneous, and now it now came out that he made 8.5 billion. Is it about making money?
When the JAMB I was really shocked about that.
Money making, is that should be his achievement? Right. The man that could not conduct mock. The last mock that he conducted, the questions were incomplete. They won't tell public. A JAMB official lost his life recently, 38-year-old boy with 2 children. Right. You know, they call me because they know I'm fighting for this. With 2 children, just to go and check a CBT center in Abuja. Don't you have JAMB center, JAMB office in Enugu there? Okay. And that is what is happening. Go to JAMB office in Lagos here. They use, I better pass my neighbor generator.
I have to pause you for a second because I know you're obviously upset. And a lot of things you're saying,
and one Benjamin come here and start saying.
All right, let's take some tweets, sir. Let's take some tweets. Jumake?
Joel says students are victims of JAMB incompetence. Processes and procedures are meant for students' failure.
Omotosho says the new registrar has failed the system because he is confused, always giving wrong information.
White Lion says, obviously post UMEA has proven JAMB is now a money-making venture as they have lost focus. Maybe it's time to scrap it. Adebayo says, most officials are of analog brains without a digital mindset. It can't work like that. Joel also says, I wish I was in the studio to join the voice with the guests to speak on the incompetence and fraud of JAMB on students.
Bakare says, the set of students in our secondary schools today are the computer-age students. They learn and imitate online.
Okay, we have to
Abu says, even if they register 1.7 million candidates, the process was tedious and stressful for people. By the way, it was obvious.
But from what he's saying, that even though they register 1.7, there are a lot of errors.
Yes.
And the errors are not even corrected.
So 60% failure is failure.
It's failure. It's a Bismarck, and you come here and you are talking. You
call yourself Dr. Benjamin, it's Fabian, Dr. Fabian.
Fabian Benji.
All right, let us, you have to round up. All right. We know that there's been an extension. So it's no more Friday, right? It's now Saturday.
It's now Friday.
No, the exam is Friday.
It's Friday. Okay.
Right. The exam was supposed to close earlier. That's why there was mad rush. Okay. Now later I extended it.
All right. So hopefully the students.
The exam is starting Friday, 3 p.m. Yeah. Let me be their spokesperson now. This is what Benjamin is supposed to say. JAMB exam starts on Friday. No more Saturday. 3 p.m. And on their site they have JAMB form will close 21st of May. Tell them to go and correct it. that the exam, that the form will close 21st of May.
I'm sure before close of business today.
What's deceiving people?
That's all we can take on the show. Goodness,
thank you, sir.
Who is our Minister of Education?
We don't know. We need it for Queen's College matter.
Take water.
We need it for jam issues.
Madam.
We need to find somebody to handle this.
These young people.
That's all we can take on this segment of the show. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Segment.